Hey, yo, E-King Fight News. Man, the news just keeps on rolling in. Eddie Hearn talking crazy. He's talking about Anthony Joshua doesn't need Wilder's $50 million offer. We want the fight in the UK. That's what Eddie Hearn's talking about. E-King Fight News, more on this, guys. Alright, let's get it. Eddie Hearn recently said in an interview with Fight Hub TV, shout out to Ego, basically, he doesn't need that $50 million. He doesn't need it. Joshua doesn't need it. Joshua asked for it, guys. Joshua point blank said, hey, you say it's a $100 million fight? Hey, put $50 million up and we got a fight. That's what he said. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And when Joshua uttered those words, all you guys coming in here talking that bullshit, talking that, oh, Wilder's a windmill, he can't beat AJ, Wilder will get knocked out. Well, if Wilder's gonna get knocked out, take the $50 million. Not only that, but Eddie Hearn says on camera, you know what? We prefer to fight to be in the UK, but we know that the fight can do upwards of $10 million more for Anthony Joshua in the US. Now what does that tell you? Man? They feel too comfortable at home over there in the pond. They feel too comfortable. They like that home field advantage that they have over there. And I mean, on one hand I understand, and on the other hand, I already know Wilder's willing to go over to the UK. But Eddie Hearn, you gotta dip into your pocketbook and really put out a real offer. Because that first offer wasn't a real offer. That was that bullshit to get the thing started, man. But that wasn't a real offer. So now Eddie Hearn's talking about he's got $1 billion to play with. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about it's $1 billion deal. Well, shit, you can take $50 million out of your pocketbook, can't you? Take $50 million, give Wilder fucking 25, give AJ 30. Let's make a fight happen. If you do the math, that adds up to 55. But anyways, it is what it is, man. That just is what it is. Shit, man. Eddie Hearn, I really don't know if he wants to fight. He's saying he's talking to Al Heyman now. So he's progressed from Shelly Finkel to Al Heyman. I mean, some good signs there. He's saying the talks are positive, but he said that last week. He said we've had some positive conversations last week. 2 weeks later, it's more positive talks, but what does that really mean, guys? What does it really mean? Has anything been agreed on? That's my question. Has anything been agreed on? Have you agreed on anything for this Wilder Joshua fight? You know, the short answer is no. But who knows? Who really knows? Only Eddie Hearn knows, and this dude is stalling. You know what's interesting? He said he'd want to do the fight in Wembley Stadium. He said he would prefer September in the UK if he had to give it, you know, a date and whatnot. But I mean, yeah, we just kind of have to wait and see how these negotiations show up. I mean, both Wilder and Joshua seem to want to make the fight. And once again, Eddie Hearn, people call him a great promoter. I mean, he's done well for himself in the UK. I can't get it twisted. He's probably the number one guy out of the UK right now, next to Frank Warren. But what does that say about him trying to get into the US? I mean, it's something that is very ambitious. I mean, not too many UK promoters really try and put themselves out there and bring a UK stable over to the US. That's something he clearly isn't trying to do. He's trying to recruit American fighters under his banner and then try and match them against each other or try and match them against bums. You know, he's looking at all these other guys. Dimitri Bivol, he mentioned a slew of Al Heyman fighters, which is real interesting. So, you know, I wonder. I really wonder if Al Heyman's willing to put up one or two of his fighters to really solidify this Wilder Joshua fight. Because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, these two guys, Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn, they're playing chess on a very interesting board. You know, it's the board of fucking boxing. You know, it's the board of boxing. And Al Heyman, at the end of the day, has a lot more pieces. It's like Al Heyman, he's got like 3 rooks, 3 knights, 3 bishops and shit. You know, he's got all these pieces. And Eddie Hearn, he's only got really 3 major pieces. He's got the queen. You know, Anthony Joshua is his queen on the board. I'd say, you know, he's got Kell Brook, Amir Khan. They're the fucking knights. They're fucking always running all over the place. He's got fucking, you know, he probably has James DeGale as a rook on one side. He's got fucking, you know, Tony Bellew's a rook on the other side. I mean, shit, man. But he really, he doesn't have enough pieces to fill out the board. You know, he's got a lot of UK pieces, but I'm talking about in terms of US. He's only got 2 or 3 guys. He's got Danny Jacobs. He's got Jarrell Miller. And both of them haven't really done shit since they signed with Eddie Hearn. I mean, actually, no, I can't even say Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller is not signed with Eddie Hearn. He works with them, but he's not signed with them. So he really only has Danny Jacobs. And, you know, Eddie Hearn's a lot of talk. He talks about the Charlo brothers. But one thing that remains very clear is the Al Heyman stable, they're very loyal to Al Heyman. You know, he's the one that said, you know, because all these fighters, they had to take some time and make sure all their contracts had expired before they went over to the PBC. Right? So, like Mikey Garcia, he had a lot of time off. Keith Thurman had some time off. Danny Garcia had some time off before the PBC was unveiled. And once that happened, it changed the landscape. That was about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is PBC's 3rd year. 2nd or 3rd year? 3rd year. 3rd year. I believe it started in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Or 2016. 2016. I think, 2016. That's really when the PBC started, with Keith Thurman fighting Robert Guerrero. Robert Guerrero, that was the first PBC card. And look at what's happened since then. Right? I mean, the word is it's not doing so well, but they're still putting on great fights. Look at the schedule. Just look at the schedule. It's packed. And what's the next big fight on the PBC? They were thinking about putting together Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter and putting Tim Bradley, Adrian Bronner on the undercard. Tell me that's not awesome. Like, that's a great card. So, I mean, he's putting together a whole lot of great fights. And Eddie Hearn, he's playing catch-up right now because he doesn't have the fighters. He may have the money, but he doesn't have the fighters. So, we're going to see if he can coerce. We're going to see if he could sign some top-level guys. You know, he's going to have to find the guys that are really the workhorses, but they're underrated. I'm talking about, like, the Joe Smith Jr.'s. I'm talking about, like, you know, Andres Fonfara's. He's going to have to find these guys, you know, and really bring them to prominence, you know. And that's just what it is, guys. E-King Fight News. Let me know what you guys think. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. What do you guys think about Eddie Hearn saying he doesn't need? He said Joshua doesn't need this $50 million offer. Man, if you... Unbelievable. Unbelievable what comes out of this guy's mouth. E-King Fight News.